Hello again. So Kieran Hayes here, and here today to talk to you about my run and gun video setup. Now you might think of running and gunning as being quite elaborate, but for me it's actually really simple. My idea of run and gun is something that you're going to have with you all the time. So it's something you're going to be out. You could be out taking photographs, and your video gear is there with you. Now, how do you make it so simple and so light that it's so easy to carry? Well, this is my incredibly simplistic setup, so let's get into it and I'll tell you all about it. So yeah, cinematography and videography in general is really complex. There's an awful lot of gear involved. So what I try and do is I try and keep it simple. I try and keep it simple from the point of view of if it's lightweight, if it's easy to carry around and whatnot, I'll have it with me at all times. So this is my run and gun setup, and you're basically looking at it. This is the vast majority of it. So basically speaking, camera with an L bracket on it, and I have a variable ND filter. Now you might think, oh my God, Kieran, that just sounds incredibly basic and incredibly stupid. What's the advantage of having an L bracket in the first place? Well, there's something really cool about this L bracket, and it's something that I think is going to help you going forward too as well. So I'm going to post the model number, the L bracket and everything down in comments because I've actually forgotten it right now, but it's a small rig L bracket, and this L bracket is actually from my Nikon Z6 Mark II. So the really cool thing about this L bracket, and I know quite a few L brackets have it, but what's really handy about this one is on the base, I don't know if you can see that there now or not, on the base you have an Allen key. I can just simply pop that off, and there's two screw points. So the first one is to tighten it actually onto the camera itself. The second one, when I release this, just pop in the Allen key and turn that, I can now slide the handle out. And what's really nice about this bracket is the clearance. I think a few of you can see where this is going already. So I'm just going to tighten that up along again. So that's it, that's done. So I have now transformed my camera from having an L bracket on it to having a side handle. How cool is that? Side handle. All of a sudden, I can now shoot something and look in the back of my monitor, and my footage is going to be a lot steadier because I have a wider grip, I have a more secure grip. So quite simply being, to transform this from a photography camera to my run and gun setup, it's a matter of loosen one screw, slide in the bracket, tighten it again, and away you go. It works incredibly well, and it is so blooming handy. But one other thing you'll notice is I have two cable grips or two cable clamps on the side here, because what I also tend to do is I tend to shoot this, I tend to leave this on if I'm using it on my Z7 II. I will actually shoot with this L bracket on it, and I'll use these cable clamps to kind of wrap the tethering cable around if I'm doing a fashion shoot or whatever else, that there's people walking around the place constantly. The last thing you want is the camera or the cable, the USB tethering cable, to get caught in someone's leg and pull it straight out of the camera. So and damage the socket in the camera, and then your banjacks for the rest of the photo shoot. So or they fall over the cable too, so that's the other possibility, but we won't talk about that. But you know, it could be even a case if you're just standing there and you just go to position just to take a shot, and if your foot is standing on the cable, you'll pull the USB socket, the USB 3 socket, or the USB-C socket, isn't this now actually? Jesus, the USB-C socket. You can tell I'm using a Nikon D850, or I was using Nikon D850 the vast majority of the time. So if you catch the cable and pull it, it's going to break the socket. The beauty of these two fellas, as I was saying, is it's actually going to hold the cable. So as you spin around and catch it, it'll put a small bit of stress in the cable, but that's it. You'll feel the tug straight away and you'll stop moving. So it's just a matter of take your foot off the cable and fire away then again. So you're after saving the cable and you're after saving the socket on the back of the camera. So really handy. But the other beauty of it is your hand fits around it a bit better. So if I just quickly just release that again, stick my hand here, open that out, slide that out along again, and then just, oops, I'm doing this kind of sideways, which is a bit stupid. So tighten it there and put the Allen key back on again. So if I put my hand around that, you can see it actually makes the grip a bit more comfortable. It's wider, so it works really well. And the other thing about making the grip more comfortable, and what's really cool about this L bracket, is the extra depth you're getting on it. So it's making the camera quite a bit wider, which is increasing the grip on the camera. So if I take the, actually, for an example, I'll pick up the Z7 II. So if I'm holding that out now, my small finger is more or less falling off the grip. So if I'm shooting on the fly now, if I'm changing settings and whatnot, I might be here and I might be looking and changing something else here, whatever else. I have now 2 fingers basically holding the camera, which isn't much of a problem. But again, if you're hand holding your camera for between 6 and 8 hours a day, which I'll be doing on some commercial shoots, it is an absolute pain in the backside. So even you see where it's digging into my palm of my wrist here, it's quite easy for that to go in. Whereas I know that sounds nuts, but watch this. It's no longer going to the center of the palm of my hand. It's now going up against the bone here along the side. So it's not as spongy, I suppose, as such, or it's not as weak. The grip is a lot more solid. Even with just holding 2 fingers, there's more surface contact area, so you've less leverage, I suppose, involved. So it works a small bit better. So then the fact you can put your middle finger or your baby finger, or whatever, like small finger, on the bottom, it just really helps solidify the grip. It makes it feel more comfortable, and it works really well. So the grip, or the L bracket, works really well for both photography and cinematography. But I think this is incredibly handy, the side handle. You can quite comfortably, I can quite comfortably hold this now, no problem whatsoever. Let's say one hand, I can just go out and I can fire off whatever I want to do. And my footage is going to be a lot more stable as a result, rather than holding it like here. Because when you're doing this, you're far more likely to get micro jitter. You know, it's moving around the place. You're not holding it as steadily. Whereas you can put 2 hands and put your elbows out, and you can get far more solidity in it, and your footage is going to be a lot smoother. So that's the L bracket. The next part of the kit then is an ND filter. And when most people think of ND filters, they're thinking of, especially in cinematography, they're thinking of using something like a matte box, like the small rig lightweight matte box, and I have the Format High-Tech, the super slim ND filters, and they're absolutely fantastic. That is a great kit, but you're not going to carry that around with you everywhere. Just being honest about it, you're really not. If you're out doing a bit of photography or whatever else, you go to the beach in the evening, you're thinking, oh my God, you see, it could be something simple. It could be a loved one walking along the beach. There's a lovely sunset going on behind him. You're thinking, oh my God, I want to capture this, right? What you can simply do is pop out something like a variable ND filter. So this is the Format High-Tech 77mm 1:6 stop variable ND filter. So if I screw this on, all of a sudden I now have the possibility of stopping my light down by 6 stops. Now you might say, what's so cool about that? Now just picture it. You have this person walking along the beach, right? A really cool scene kind of just unraveling before you. And you say, oh my God, right, my subject is there. They're walking down along the beach. There's lovely sea spray coming in. And, you know, it's the soft golden light and everything is shining through. And you're thinking, Jesus, this is ideal. What you want to do is you want to clearly define your subject. So you want to shoot at a shallower depth of field. So what you're going to do is you're going to focus on the person. You might shoot at f2.2, f2.8, f2, whatever you want, whatever depth you want. But the problem being is it's too bright. You can't do it. Your camera is telling you it needs to shoot around f11 to f16 or something in those light conditions. So again, pop on your, I couldn't even find it, it's on the camera, you genius. Pop on your variable ND filter, it's going to reduce it by 6 stops. So all of a sudden, you can shoot with a shallower depth of field, giving you the creative possibilities you want. So it's giving you the exact depth of field you want to shoot with. And again, just to vary it, it's only a matter of slide it. So min, max. It's about a 90 degree turn from 1 to the other. So from 1 stop to 6 stops. And that's basically it. That's my run and gun setup. It is so compact. It is so easy to use. And as I say, the variable ND filter also works for photography too as well. And the one thing I forgot to mention too as well is, as I'm a Format High-Tech ambassador, I have a 10% discount code on the Format High-Tech, on all Format High-Tech products. So if you check the comments down below, the discount code is HAZE10. The bracket I was using then too as well is the small rig L bracket for the Nikon Z6 Mark II. Now there's two different models in that. I chose the slightly more expensive one for two different reasons. Firstly, there's a bit more to the grip, as in there's a bit more depth to the grip coming down along, so it fits in your hand a small bit better. And the second thing is there's more spacing here. Now I think there's only 5 or 10 millimeters of a difference, but as you can see, that 5 or 10 millimeters is going to really help. So just those two simple items that you can carry in your bag or have on your camera all the time completely transform your setup. This is something we want to keep with you. This is something that's always in my camera bag. So yeah, that's my basic run and gun setup. And again, as I say, you know, if you want something a bit more elaborate, if you're out shooting something for a client or whatever else, I probably wouldn't use that. I would use the small rig lightweight matte box. So it's an incredibly beautiful unit, and it has one other main advantage in it too as well. It has the top flag, or the French flag, so you can block light flare and whatnot. The other thing I should mention too as well is there is another possibility too as well. You can also use the Firecrest Mark II filter holder, and you can use your photography filters. If you're using something like the Firecrest Ultra ND filters, they will also work in there. Or the Firecrest Super Slim 2mm filters will also work inside the Firecrest 100mm Mark II filter holder. Again, I'm going to leave links for all those in the description down below. So the only other thing, I didn't mention it, I nearly forgot it. The only other thing is the, I'm going to show you, rather than trying to describe it to you, the black Super Mist diffusion filters. These are the devils. They're 77mm filters, and you get them in varying strengths. You get them, that's the 1/8, I believe, isn't it? That is the 1/8, yep. So you have to get them in the 1/8, 1/4, 1 and 1/16. So you can buy them in a kit of 4, or you can buy them individually too as well if you know what specific strength you want. But they work really well. They give you some lovely halation to your lighting, and it gives you the soft diffused look too as well. So it just softens down the skin. So they're really good quality ND filters. The one thing you'll ever notice if you're looking at sort of bigger budget films, or you're looking at television series and whatnot, there's this sharpness about it, but the texture isn't in your face. Whereas with a modern 4K camera now, you go to recording, or 6K or 8K, even worse, you go to recording, you're going to get some immense detail. Now that immense detail is absolutely fantastic if you're shooting landscape footage or whatever else, but if you're shooting people, you generally want it a small bit softer. Nobody wants to see the lumps and bumps and the pits and falls of everyone's skin. You know, we all have them. So diffusion filter is going to really help from that point of view. So yeah, that's basically it. So 77mm diffusion filters, and if you have any questions on any of this, just give me a shout in the comments down below. You can email me too as well via my website, and that's it, guys. I promise I'm going to do a full video on diffusion filters too as well very soon. So check back in that one. Thanks again, everyone, and see you out there.